Today I thought I'd like to do a review of my Fiskars X27 splitting axe. It's 36-inch long handle and has approximately a 4-pound head, and compared to a splitting maul is very light, and you can swing it quite quickly and not too fatiguing. My concern when I bought this was the potential of breaking this plastic handle and having no way of attaching a new handle to it. But so far it's held up just great. So let's take a closer look. So it comes with this plastic sheath, which I found actually fairly handy. I actually use the large loop here to hang it from a branch in a tree near my splitting block, and just return the axe into the handle, and it stores quite nicely and locks reasonably securely. So after having split just about 3 cords of wood, probably close to 15 face cords, and I've not cleaned up or touched up or refinished the edge on this axe at all. This is what we've got. You'll notice right on the very edge, he's gotten quite chewed up, and he's not particularly happy looking. So no longer shaving sharp when I first had it, but this kind of a splitting type of implement doesn't really need to be shaving sharp, and probably when I retouch this, I won't make it that sharp again. It actually had a sort of a saber grind to it, coming to a very fine point, and I'll probably modify that when I touch it up and turn it into more of a convex edge, so that it has a little bit more beef to it and will be less likely to chip going forward. But that being said, it started chipping immediately, but hasn't gotten a whole lot worse since the very thinnest steel head had gotten chipped off. So I think he'll be fine. You can see here probably it's got quite a steep wedge shape to it, and that really facilitates forcing the wood apart. This really is not a cutting implement, it's a splitting implement. And when you strike with this, it really throws the wood off to the sides, which is exactly what we're looking for. I've had quite a number of overstrikes, and what an overstrike is when you're swinging at the piece of wood that you're after. Sometimes you strike a little bit past it, and rather than hit with the blade, you hit with the handle part down here, which imparts a tremendous force to the handle, and that's where your damage is most likely to happen. So far he's held up perfectly. No cracks, really no nothing. These little scuff marks are, I can't even feel them. They're basically just more colorations than, there's no gouges or scrapes. So the handle is held up really well. It's a very lightweight handle, and that's one of the reasons why I chose this over a more traditional splitting maul or a very heavy splitting axe. Basically trying to have a little bit of physics work in our favor, with kinetic energy being 1/2 mv squared. So if I double the mass, mv squared, m meaning mass, if you double the mass, you double the kinetic energy. But v squared, the speed of your swing squared, if you double that, you get 4 times the kinetic energy. So rather than try to swing a really heavy maul more slowly to get a certain amount of impact, what I'm trying to do is swing a much lighter axe very quickly to get the same amount of impact. And what I'm finding, especially compared to swinging my 12-pound sledgehammer and using wedges, is that I can swing this thing for hours and not be fatigued, whereas that sledgehammer does me in pretty quickly. So yeah, basically a very positive review. I'm quite happy with this. I'll touch the edge up and should be good as new again. And after splitting all that wood, there's really very little to be said about it other than it's done its job really well. So as long as the handle holds up, I've got to give this quite a high recommendation. And it does have a lifetime warranty. My understanding is if the handle does break through normal use, you can just take a picture of it and send it to the company and they'll replace the axe for you. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, so far highly recommended. It's a Fiskars X27 splitting axe.